Hey everyone, as I reach end of this street, I'm going to turn on auto steer and see how car drives on Pennant Hills Road going towards Hornsby. So there are multiple terminology here: auto steer, autopilot, enhanced autopilot, and FSD beta. So what we're trying today is autopilot, auto steer, and then enhanced autopilot. I have purchased the FSD beta, but in Australia we do not have FSD beta available yet, but we do have enhanced autopilot, so we can use up to those features. So as you've noticed, I've just turned on the auto steer mode here. So the auto steer is indicated by two blue lines on the on both lane marking on the visualization there. So that means car is fully driving itself, and whenever it cannot drive itself, it has difficulty, it will hand you over the control back. And when it hands the control back to you, the car will go on a cruise control mode. So that's a very important thing to remember, because it does not actually stop. The car keeps going forward and you just steer it towards the right direction. And as you can see, so far it's done a decent job of navigating through a simple turn, and here as well another minor curve here. It does that pretty well. What would be interesting is we're reaching the North Rocks Road intersection there, and let's see how it handles the intersection. It's a decently large intersection, so it needs to predict the lane across the road and get into the right lane, and it does that pretty well. And I've driven through here before, and I know that it's been handling that fairly well. And as I go down the road, I'm going to get into the merging lane and get into the ramp to go to M2 towards the ponds, and we'll see how the car handles there. But right about now, I'm going to turn off the auto steer so I can change lane, and also I'm going to get into the merging lane, which is also all done manually. So I'm not going to enable auto steer again until we get into the ramp. So let's see how it goes there. So as I go into the ramp, I will turn on auto steer, and you'll notice that the car is following. The speed limit is still 60, which it does not know to change. So it sees 80 and then it picks up the speed there. I'll talk about the speed assist features later on. But yeah, as you will notice very soon, the merging of the lane, it handles that pretty well. It's again, these are simple cases, I would say, because you just have to drive forward to merge the lane there. Nothing too crazy. But it did that pretty well. And you can see the auto steer is still on. One thing I noticed during this drive is for the enhanced autopilot to turn on, you have to have the destination set on your navigation. Otherwise, it doesn't turn on the enhanced autopilot. So once the enhanced autopilot is on, it can filter through lane. So if you have not purchased anything, you can still use the autopilot mode, which keeps you on the lane. It's kind of like the auto steer mode, but it's called autopilot when you're on a freeway. So it will keep you on the lane and drive the car, but with the enhanced autopilot, it can do lane filtering. And with the lane filtering, it will, there are two modes you can set up. It can either ask you for a confirmation to do the lane change. It will say, hey, I want to do a lane change on a screen, and you can put your indicator on towards that lane. So it will do the lane change, or you can have it on a mode where you just let the car decide. So then car will take over and do the lane changes. With the car changing lane, I've noticed it does it very quickly, and I'm guessing the reason for that is like we turn our heads to check the blind spot and all that and do it slowly, but the car can do all that in a pretty in a millisecond, and I guess it can make those decisions very quickly. So I'm out of M2, and I've got auto steer on and nothing too serious here, just a usual auto steer drive. I'm just going to do a long-winded U-turn, as you can see on the map, and join the other side of the lane to go back to M2. So this is a pretty big intersection as well, and it would be interesting to see how it tracks on the lane assist. I've noticed when I'm going from 0 speed to higher, sometimes it struggles to pick up lanes, but this seems to, wow, that was actually pretty good. Did handle that really well. And let's see how it handles the merge ahead, and also it's going to turn on the enhanced autopilot. We can see on the screen that it does struggle a little bit there to switch back and forth with enhanced autopilot and auto steer, but eventually it does, and then it does there we go, it did the lane change as well. So that's awesome to see. And as we approach this, finish this ramp and get onto M2, let's see how it handles that. But this, I'm pretty confident it handles these type of situation very well, because these are just very nice road with good lane lines. It seems to struggle more on turns, sharp turns, and also like suburban streets where there is no lane marking. Now, as we go ahead here, I want to talk about the speed assist improvement, where the Model 3 or any cars, they read the street sign. So there it says 60 there for the exiting lane, but what the vehicle did there was it picked up that speed sign as our freeway speed limit, and the car did slow down there. And also I had to adjust that with the controls on the steering wheel, and it does pick up and adjust nicely. But I think those type of thing needs improvement pretty early on. It does cause a confusion there. So as you've seen, we did another merge here, pretty nice and clean. And again, these type of merges are pretty easy and clear. There's almost no cars on the road, but if there was a car, it would not have merged and merged safely. It also shows you the car on the red if it cannot merge because of that car. So as we go ahead here, we are going to exit M2 and go back to Pennant Hills Road towards Carlingford Court. So this is the exit lane, and it handles that. I mean, I was on that lane, so it didn't need to do a lane change there, so that's pretty standard. And as we go forward here, we're going to go right after this lane, see if we can change lane using the autopilot feature, or we need to go do it manually. Let's have a look. Yeah, it triggered for a lane change, it did the lane change there, but the indicator was a little bit, it came on and it went off. That's okay, I guess. And yeah, we're back to. So I took a right there from Pennant Hills Road towards North Rocks Road. I didn't go to Carlingford Court, but auto steer does pretty interesting job here of going over the lane marking, which was not great to see. And the thing is, it didn't warn. It usually warns for lane avoidance, but it didn't do that there. Anyway, that's something Tesla can improve on. Thank you for watching this video, guys. Hope you enjoyed.